Welcome to another episode of the Title Movement Podcast. And in today's episode, I absolutely love, I've got a very special lady that's agreed to come on, and I absolutely love having my clients on. The reason being that you guys listening can actually relate to them. Excuse me. It's all right, me saying certain things about my program or telling stories, but I think when you hear it from people like yourselves, it's like more relatable and it's an inspiration. And this lady has got a true sort of inspirational story. She even inspires me. So without further ado, Lou, thanks so much for agreeing to come on. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey Tom, my name is Lou and I'm 47. I have been diabetic for 34 years and on an insulin pump for 12. I decided to join Tom's coaching course after speaking to a friend and a fellow type 1. Hey Soph. Really wanted, after speaking to Sophie, who really did super well in the course, and just said that I owed it to myself to kind of try and make things better and feel better. I thought, as type 1 is at the center of everything, I thought I would give it a go. But yes, I'm sure you recall me being super nervous.
That's what I was gonna move on to. Let's talk about the apprehensive part first as well, because Soph agreed with this, because I remember our chat, and then obviously you didn't sign up there, and then a lot you went back, you spoke to Soph and that. So talk us through why and how you were sort of apprehensive about joining the program at first.
Well, I think I've been kind of brought up to if you've got anything wrong, you always go to the NHS. You go to your GP, and then all of a sudden to sort of think, oh right, okay, I've got to put my confidence and trust in you was a really big deal for me. I mean, it wasn't like you were a really horrible monster or anything like that. It was just the fact that I'm 47 and I've never known anything else, and that's just how things were. So I just thought, I'm not really very sure if I'm going to do this. And I remember having lots of chats with you and do I do it? Do I not do it? But yeah, I'm super glad that I decided to pluck up the courage and join. So yeah, happy.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it is difficult when you're getting yourself into and you're purchasing something that you can't actually see. And like I always say I'm forever grateful to all my clients, yourself, and everyone who do put their trust in me. Because it's a big deal at the end of the day, putting your trust in someone. Yeah. And then I think it's the trust that you have in yourself. Will I follow through on this? Will I actually put the work in? And like you say, I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that about being apprehensive about joining a coaching program, like you said. So talk us through a little bit where you was in terms of your health, managing diabetes before you started, because I will say to people out there, you had some huge limitations and so many fucking excuses that you could have used on why you didn't want to better yourself and your health, but you didn't. And that's why it's so inspirational. And you do really inspire me as well, Lou. And a lot of people listening to this, if you think you have limitations and reason why you can't improve your health and become the best version of yourself, Lou's story will hopefully inspire you. So talk us through where you was with everything before you joined the program.
So I don't have particularly good health. I'm partially sighted, and that really does limit me quite a bit. But like you say, I just crack on with it, and I just make changes as I go. I have vascular disease, and again, that wasn't the best, and did really limit me for actually just feeling okay, and just not cancelling things because you didn't feel so good. And so I just felt that although my diabetes wasn't super bad, I think my time in target range before was something like 73%. And that wasn't really bad, but it wasn't consistent. And that's, I think, what the program taught me was consistency is good. So things went hunky-dory, but I think I was really fed up with the highs and the lows, thinking that I'm having this for my dinner and I've had the right amount of insulin for what I'm eating, looking at my Libra afterwards, and I was still spiking and just not understanding really why things were happening. So that was kind of, and I had known for a while that I really needed to do something, but what that something was, I didn't really know then. But that's why I decided that it was time to do something.
So how was you feeling like generally day to day before joining the program, would you say?
Just really quite tired and lethargic, couldn't really be bothered, fed up with all, and I just didn't have any energy to go and do things. And, I would go, to meet friends for coffee or anything, but I was always happy to come home. I must admit, I was really happy to just get back in. And I think, to be honest, during lockdown and even probably before lockdown, I spent a large proportion of my time at home. I chose to spend it at home. It was like you were sort of hiding from everything. I was just cracking on at home and not really enjoying myself and going out and really having a nice time. And I was really quite fed up with that.
Yeah. So even though it was like, talk us through the numbers. Like, I think you starting time in target was around like 70%. What was your average and your predicted A1C before starting?
So my time in target range was 73%, and my estimated HbA1c was 7. My average bloods were around 7.98 beforehand, where I started.
Yeah, like you say, he was having a lot of highs and lows, really. And it was like, this is what I try to say to people sometimes, like, it's numbers, but it's how we feel. And like you said, you felt like quite, you want to spend time by yourself, really tired, lethargic. I remember you saying like you was achy at times and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where are you now? Let's jump straight into it. Like, where are you now in terms of your numbers? And then we'll go off how you're feeling now.
Super proud of my numbers, really proud of my numbers. So I'm now consistently about 90-95%, and there are quite a few 100% creeping in there. Super delighted, and I actually feel really quite just super happy about it, but quite competitive a little bit now. Anybody that knows me that I'm not competitive in the slightest, but now I'm super thrilled that they are at high 90s, and that's really quite good. My average bloods are 6.2. That's super fab. And my estimated HbA is again 6.2. Really, who knew? That's amazing. I'm super delighted about those, really. I honestly can't tell you how happy I am about those.
And how do you feel in yourself and generally day to day and with life and stuff now?
Oh, I'm happy as, I had time in hospital last week that wasn't particularly great. However, I managed it. I felt more confident. I'll talk a little bit about what my sugars were on the day later, but I feel generally a lot calmer. I'm not anxious or stressed. I don't, swipe my Libra and thinking, oh goodness, what is it going to be? I'm happy, and if it's slightly higher or slightly lower, or even a big bit higher and a wee bit lower, I know what to do. I'm not anxious when I see that, and that is amazing. That in itself is pretty fab. I don't stress about that. I'm just happy as, and also, things like what I'm eating now.
I was going to say, let's get on to that. What you was avoiding and what you're eating now.
This is just totally amazing. I love bread. I really love bread in any form, and I avoided it like the plague. And no jokes, I absolutely avoided it. Things like pastas or rices or anything like that. And I would kind of, you would go into the kitchen and think, right, what's for dinner? What is the thing that I can have that's the least amount of insulin that I can have for dinner? And I would have that. It wasn't a case of going into the kitchen and thinking, what do I want to eat for dinner? It was, and that's terrible. You should think, oh, I fancy such and such, but I wasn't doing that. I was going in and thinking the other way around, totally flipped the other way and thinking, right, okay, well, this is only 10 grams, right? I think I'll just have that because it's just tiny. And that's just ridiculous. That's not life, is it?
No.
That's not enjoying your life.
No. I think, that's what people, when some type 1 say, like, I feel like diabetes is controlling me and I'm not controlling it. So you was at kind of that point before the program.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember thinking to myself, right, come on, Lou, you're going to have to do something. So I remember saying to friends, right, I'm going to have lasagna. I'm going to nail it. And I so did. It was amazing. Like Scott came home and said, "What's for dinner tonight, Lou?" So we're going to have lasagna and some salad. And he said, "Oh, what are you having?" Like, "No, I'm having lasagna and salad, the same as you." And he said, "You're having a laugh, Lou. And all of our 24 years together, I don't think you've ever had lasagna." I said, "Well, there you go." And it was amazing. And, just to sit down and really start enjoying your food, really, isn't that just lovely? That's just a simple thing in life, but it was so lovely.
Yeah, it's a huge thing being able to now, from that, like going from avoiding stuff to now eating it and enjoying it and still managing your levels around it. And I remember when he was on the program, when you went away and you wanted to try different foods, and I was like, go for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having the confidence to do that, I think, is a huge thing as well, right?
Yeah. And we do quite like to maybe, go out for dinner with some friends or my mum and dad, or and we did actually go out. I think just when the Bond movie came out, we met friends for dinner. Then we went to the Bond movie. So I had a look at the restaurant online and I could see the menu and I chose what I was having. I planned, and I even had some chocolate pick and mix stuff at the cinema, and everything was great. And I remember, I totally enjoyed being out with our friends and seeing the movie. It was great. But, the main thing was just the fact that my sugars were fantastic the whole way through. So,
living life and smashing it, living your best life, as they say, as much as I hate that saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, so like talk us through because the limitations, because with us we have to be careful on steps. We couldn't really do many of the workouts, and a lot of type ones I speak to, they're like, maybe I don't want to work out or I can't work out, can't get many steps in. And you could have used that as an excuse. Well, I can't really join the program, so I can't work out. I can't control my levels because I can't move that much. So talk us through kind of how we've overcome that and your mindset towards that.
Well, I think in the beginning, I did kind of think, I'm not going to manage this. This is just going to be an absolute joke, and I remember looking at the first workout and thinking, wow, I'm just not going to manage to do this. And then I thought, come on, you're invested this in you. You've got to crack on, just do it. And I think I do have a little bit of a mindset like that, where I kind of just knuckle down. So if something's in my way, I'll just think, right, okay, how can I get past it? So I did the first workout, and I remember saying to Scott, you'll never guess, I've just done a workout. Really? It's been something like, I don't know, 15 years or something like that since I've done it. So yeah, and I think that made me feel so much better that, sitting on the sofa thinking, well, I'm totally past it now. I can't do anything like that now. There's just not a cat's chance, to actually realizing that, well, I actually can do that. And it was really good. So now I'm conscious of moving around. I'm conscious about how many times I go up the stairs, whereas before I would be thinking, oh, well, I'll maybe do that, and I'll leave that at the bottom of the stairs and I'll do it all together. I don't think like that now. I just crack on. If I need to do it and it's stairs or movement, whatever it is, if I want to do it, I'll do it. So yeah, I'm happy about that. I think towards the end, because of my vascular disease, we did have a few issues.
Yeah.
However, I'm kind of overcome some of those issues, so I can start again. So yeah. So thank you again for introducing.
You're more than welcome. And you still managed to manage your levels well around that as well. Because I remember there was times I was like, right, if you're in a little bit of pain, let's back off a little bit. And it was learning how to manage that, wasn't it? So so we know where you started and where you're at now. How I always say this to you, how apprehensive you was before joining. What would you say your most favorite part of the program was? What did you enjoy most and get the most from, would you say?
There were massive wins. Don't get me wrong. I've got a list here on my pad, and there's
let's go through them.
14, 15 different, things in my book. But I think just the taking part and actually feeling that I could ask a question, for pretty much all my life, I've always sat at the back, and I've always been super happy to listen, but actually participate, I've not really been very happy to do that. So that was a big thing for me too, thinking, right, okay, come on, Lou, you've got to join in, you've got to take part in this course. So doing that and realizing that people were so nice, you know, you explained things to me, Fred explained things, other people in the group. It was so lovely, and I've never had that before. You know, everybody being type 1. I mean, that was one of the selling points for me, was the fact that you were type 1, and what's going on in your head was the same as what's in my head. You know, and that to me, you know, I mean, it's no disrespect to anybody else, but you just don't understand. You just don't really get it. So when I can tell you something, I know that you instantly get it. I mean, that was amazing. But yeah, taking part the Zoom calls and trying something. So you teaching me something, or me reading part of the coursework, and actually trying it and putting it into practice, and it working. I was a dancer. That is just amazing. You know, all of that. And I think because you were getting one win, and then you were maybe getting another one, and they were kind of growing and growing, and sometimes things didn't work, but you taught me not to be disheartened about things not working. You know, you taught me to try it. Well, if it didn't work, just try it again, just tweak it a little bit, but not to be scared to tweak it. You know, I was super scared to tweak anything before, super scared. And I didn't know anything about, you know, insulin to carb ratios. Mine were set the whole 24 hours, you know, so changing all of that, it was just fantastic. So putting the work in and getting your basals right, you know, it's so well worth it. So worth it.
Because I remember you saying that you've not changed anything, or you didn't have the confidence to change things for years and years, and then coming in and getting the confidence to do it and work through.
Well, they pretty much hadn't changed at all in 12 years. In all the 12 years of having a pump, I hadn't changed anything. So yeah, and pre-bolusing. Are we going to chat about pre-bolusing? I mean, come on. I mean, really? I mean, I remember you know, listening, hearing everybody in the group and reading stuff, thinking, what does that actually mean? I didn't really know what it meant. I hadn't heard the term before.
Not a lot do still, like not a lot of people do.
No, and you know, I remember thinking, right, okay, what to do? And I thought, you know what? Just get on, Lou, and just ask. So I did. You told me, you explained it all to me. I did it, and I remember phoning you saying, "You're having a laugh. It actually worked. This is amazing." So yeah, that's totally amazing. But the knowledge, the confidence, the fact, what the accountability post has given me is just not stressing about it, and understanding and analysing. And I think it's the understanding part that's just the best thing for me, because I now know what to do, and I now know why it's happened. The majority of the time, but you know, being a type 1, there are lots of curveballs, aren't there? However, if we have sort of the fundamental things, we can sort anything.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely love that. That's why I said I was looking forward to getting you on with a huge transformation. So from where you've come from, not just numbers, but like you say, not having the confidence to change things, feeling tired and achy quite a lot and stuff. And then now just to where you're at. And I can tell, because when we do these podcasts, obviously we're on a Zoom call, I can actually see you. And I said to Lee when she jumps on, you look so fucking happy. So good to see you. So absolutely amazing. I love it. So you did actually come to the end of the program, didn't you, a few weeks ago? How have things been since you finished the program? Because obviously I say this to all my guys, people get the option to stay on, some people don't, some people do. And I always say, like, my goal on the program is to actually teach and educate, so people like yourself can keep these skills for life. So how have you been getting on recently?
Well, to be honest, when I finished, I think it was on I think you had kept me on over the weekend. So when it actually shouldn't, I think I was maybe on for a few days longer. So I keep popping on and just having a look, seeing what everybody was doing. And but when it came to the Monday, I sort of popped on and I thought, oh, he's taking me off. I thought, oh no, I felt really just a bit lost, just because I think, you know, you'd had the Tom comfort blanket and the Fred and everybody in the group, and I did feel a wee bit lost and a wee bit unhappy. However, it only lasted a few days, and I really did get back into how you know, positively I feel having been on the course. So I do the same as I did on the course today. So do you remember we spoke about having your diary, and how on one side I have my diary for things I have to do in the day, and on the other side I have my diabetes side. And it's absolutely great. So I've not changed that. That's just
good.
And I think although you've taught me masses, absolutely masses about my diabetes, it's all about planning, but not just for diabetes. It's planning your life, planning your whole, your whole life.
That's one thing I was going to say, that because we had so many conversations, didn't we, Lou? And you was like, you know what, actually keeping a diary and planning shit down when it comes to what I'm eating, tracking food, blood glucose, and life tasks in general has been a huge game changer. So if you guys listening to this can take one thing, I'm big on this myself, is planning, because it really did help, didn't it, Lou?
Oh, without a doubt. And just looking at menus, from restaurants, and I mean, my fitness pal, like you say, isn't going to give an accurate, but at least you've got a ballpark figure of, and you can tweak, little bits. So, that's absolutely amazing. So I still use my fitness pal as well. So I've not actually changed very much, to be honest. We're now sort of 2, maybe 3 weeks later, and I'm pretty much doing exactly the same. So yeah, I'm delighted. And to be honest, I don't really think I'll change. I think because, as a person, you understand and realize how much you've improved. So you don't actually want to go back. So you're just happy to keep going. And do all the things that you guys taught me. So yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Thanks, Lee. So if you could say one thing to another type 1 diabetic out there, what would it be? I always ask everyone this from the podcast. What would it be if you could say one thing to them?
Well, it's all about confidence. So I am an absolute wuss. And you were a bit scary in the beginning, and I was.
I remember you saying that. You just reminded me then, Lou. Okay, you said, Tom, I don't respond to this. Well, I don't respond to that. I was like, Lou, don't worry, we're going to be fine. I remember that.
So I would honestly say that if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, it really did take a lot for me to do it and to have the confidence in you. But I can absolutely be rest assured that if you're going to be putting your confidence in anybody, it's in you, and it definitely works. So please, if you just have a wee thought, want to do something different, it's so worth it. So worth it. I can't stress it enough.
Thanks, Lee. Because I'll be honest, I think you was the most apprehensive person that I'd spoken to about joining the program. But we always laughed about this on the check-in calls as well. But now, how do you feel about a decision and being apprehensive at the start? How do you feel?
Oh, absolutely fine. I would make, decisions, anytime. I'm more than happy to make decisions. It doesn't worry me in the slightest. I'm not apprehensive about anything now. I'm really happy going forward. Really happy.
Cool. And about joining the program, the decision that you made on that?
Oh, fantastic decision I have ever made. Now, I have an appointment with my endo on the 24th of December, and I can't wait.
Lovely.
Now, that in itself, I haven't felt like that in 34 years. I've always been thinking, oh no, I've got to go. But I can't wait. And that's all thanks to making that decision to come on the course.
Love that. Thanks, Lee. I love it. You have to keep me updated and let me know what they say on that, because that's a huge thing, I think, because we know what it feels like to go and sit with an endo or some specialist, and for us to not have great control and know that they're going to say maybe some facetious shit or things that aren't quite helpful, and we just feel like we're being judged, I think, as well. But then, like you say, after joining the program, understanding and getting this control, now you want to be like, we want to show off a little bit, don't we? We want to be like, hey, look at this.
Absolutely. And I tell you, I will be showing off. I will. I cannot wait.
Oh, I love it. Well, you have to let me know what happens. Well, if there's anything, is there anything else that you want to add, Lou? Anything you want to go over before we close out?
I think I've covered everything. Just have the courage and do it. You won't regret it.
Love it. Thank you so much, Lou, and thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
No problem.